who are on the call. Thank you so much for joining us. Frank and I are looking forward to this discussion, and it's all about expanding your offerings as an MSP without having to add 150 people to your team, right? Nobody wants to add that type of
Or even
cost.
1.5 people.
Okay, well, we can do that. Frank, do you want to do 2 seconds and introduce yourself and your great company, and then I'll do the same?
Yeah, you bet. Good morning, and thanks, Tony, for having us on, and good morning for everybody joining. My name is Frank Ramondi with Nodeware. I'm our VP for partnerships and alliances and distribution and key accounts, and kind of a little jack of all trade. Been around in the channel for a long time, and look forward to helping. We really are Nodeware is we'll hear about more, but just continuous vulnerability, sort of really looking at a proactive model of cybersecurity, right? How to protect your customers before the bad stuff happens. So that's what we're talking about today, helping you and your MSP build better business for your customers.
Excellent. Thanks, Frank. Appreciate that. I'm Tony Petricola, president, co-founder of AgileBlue. Obviously, very proud partners with Nodeware and how we bring in Nodeware into our platform for our customers to take advantage of it and utilize it to do exactly what Frank just said, get out ahead of everything before any bad things might happen to anyone. So our agenda is pretty simple. Dive into a couple challenges, of course, but really people learn from case studies. So we're very excited to bring an actual case study to the forefront, talk about it, answer questions around it. We think everybody appreciates that more in these webinars these days, and just talking on and on. Expanding your cyber services and how a unified approach really does make a lot of sense. And of course, answer your questions, and then depending on where you are, get you to your lunch, get you to your next meeting, whatever it might be. The whole point is not to take up too much of your time today. So briefly, AgileBlue, for those of you who don't know us, we are an AI-powered security operations platform. Of course, we're a cyber company, so we have to use acronyms. So SecOps platform. And the whole point is to not only continuously detect, but to autonomously respond to cyber attacks, to networks, clouds, endpoints before there's an actual compromise. And our company is very reliant on our technology, which we think is fantastic. But we also have a 24/7 SOC that is always available to work through complex investigations. And for those clients who want more hand-holding and walking through responses, we're set up 24/7 to do just that, which is critical for our customer base. Frank, I'll let you talk a little bit about you guys.
Yeah, so Nodeware it's actually a very stable product, right? It's been around 7+ years, and we keep innovating and bringing in AI elements, and we got some really cool roadmap elements coming beginning next year that'll make that even more obvious and helpful. But continuous is really the key word here, and proactive, which isn't in the wording here, but really looking. This tool is really multi-tenant, right? It's really easy deployment for an MSP, 10 minutes, and you can be up and running and collecting data. Again, within the AgileBlue platform, really putting the data where it needs to go, as you can kind of see on the image there. But really, our focus is on proactive look and identification of all the assets, right? You can't protect, you can't, make safer what you don't know is there. So you'd be surprised how many times either MSP in their own business or at their first customer rollout, they see, 50 devices, and they think there's 50 devices, and we actually found, 80 to 100, right? It's usually 2 to 3x the number of endpoints or employees, just because we're checking everything, right? It's not just your endpoints and your servers. It's all your printers, your scanners, your firewall devices. It's your iPhones. It's any IoT devices in particular, right? Which is really an important and growing important element to be able to identify and look against known vulnerabilities that are published, and particularly those that are being exploited in the wild. We can provide quick, easy remediation guidance, and that's really where the integration and the partnership with AgileBlue can benefit an MSP when they use this combination.
Absolutely, Frank. And that asset management is such an important thing. And discovery is even more important because I would think the majority of folks, when you do discovery, are like, oh, I had forgotten about that, or
You
wow.
know, oh, it's the light bulbs and the oh, the oh shits that come up is really quite
Yeah,
stunning.
absolutely. Um, Talk a little bit, Frank, about some of these MSP challenges, if you will, and maybe what you see. You guys work with a lot of MSPs to bring them this great technology. What do you see with maybe some of the bigger challenges? And the one thing I'll say is this too. Everybody talks about AI. We're in a world of AI. You can't do anything these days without hearing AI.
Yeah.
One of the differences between AgileBlue and Nodeware is we actually show you our AI. Like we can demo it, we can show it to you. It's real stuff. It's not just good. We got good marketing people, got great marketing people, but it's not just marketing talk. Maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, no, one of the things um, that when an MSP sort of discovers us or they come across us, maybe they're using a different tool and they see us and they see the simplicity with what we do. But more times than not, simplicity means there's a lot of intelligence and smarts behind it, right? And so what we're trying to not make it more complicated for an MSP to utilize the tool, right? The focus is um, getting it, making it accessible and making it easy to use. So, you said the AI is inserted in everything and everywhere, and 9 times out of 10, it's just marketing BS that is behind that. So, but one of the couple of the key challenges that we see with in addition to just keeping up, right? You go to a trade show and there's 50 vendors and everybody's got the latest and greatest and coolest thing, and it can be definitely overwhelming. But one of the more relevant challenges that we have, in particular, just when they're using Nodeware, is the resources to keep it going, right? And to roll it out to more customers. They know that it should be on every one of their customers, but only 2 of them, let's say out of their 20, have started with it, right? Or they had a specific requirement for a compliance tool or maybe a cyber insurance requirement. But their biggest issue is the rollout, right? Keeping up with technology, but it's also keeping up with the staff to administer. And that's where, again, I think this partnership and where the AgileBlue SecOps in the background and sort of helping an MSP without not have to hire a person just to be able to, manage this, right? And I don't want to sound that managing Nodeware is difficult because it's not. But we do provide you a lot of valuable data, things that are actionable and that need to be taken care of to protect your customers.
Sure.
And so we've seen a lot of times where MSPs have not afraid or hesitant to roll it out to a broader set of customers because it's just going to give them all kinds of work. So what we're doing a bit, and then I think again with the integration is that we're helping somebody prioritize what they're doing so that they need to roll it out to everybody. They need to be doing proactive vulnerability management, and they need to be able to be doing proactive remediation of the most critical devices. And that's really where the big challenge is, and not just for us, but I think for a lot of different programs and applications that they're using, is really kind of understanding the priorities and then the staffing to roll those. So sometimes they can do it, sometimes they need extra, and they're afraid to roll that out.
Yep. And the way I look at it too, Frank, is when you think about MSPs and adding to their bag of what they could bring to their customers. I think when they think about it, it's, man, not only do I have to hire people, and where's that going to put pressure on my business, but can I even find these people, right? So, the thing when we talk to partners, it's forget the expense. That's one thing. But how do we find the talent and then retain the talent, right? That's even maybe harder. So the
Yeah.
great thing about companies like AgileBlue and Nodeware coming together, the great part about automation via AI is allows you to take this stuff to market, bring your clients something that's going to make them stickier, and don't have to add people is a huge win, right? Because it's not just that expense, it's the retention that becomes some of the bigger problems for MSPs. That's what we see. Frank, I don't know if there's anything else you'd add to it, and how you might tie in some of the competition that MSPs are feeling.
No, I concur 100%. And the competition specifically, right, is for staff, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
if I was starting out of college and, young kid, I mean, there's no place I'd rather go than be in this, developing a career in the support and technology field. So, no, but the competition is there. And there's sort of the outside frame of things in terms of acquisitions and, M&A going on in the MSP channel, and, some of the bigger companies trying to, keep growing. And so it's there, right?
Sure.
It's an ongoing concern.
Frank, I'm surprised you didn't say coming out of college, instead of being in this world, you might want to be an influencer. I could see you being the next Jake Paul. Obviously, it worked for him, man. He got made
That's
$20
very
million bucks the
crowded.
other
That's a
night.
very crowded field. I'm sorry.
Exactly, exactly. Although it is more lucrative. So, we've been talking about, scaling without hiring. And I think a lot of people, probably MSPs, are like, yeah, it sounds great. Yeah, we all want to scale without hiring. And, what does that mean? When we take a look at it, and I don't know what your experience is, Frank, when companies are able to find a partner that they can integrate their technology with, it's not just the technology that can also reduce that burden on building your service offerings in cyber without having to hire. It's also working with an organization that has that 24/7 operations and support team that can white label and streamline right into your MSP. So you're getting the best of both worlds. Frank, when you
Yeah.
talk to customers, how do they tend to see it?
No, they're scrambling, right? I mean, I think there's a number of different ways they can do it. Some of them are partnering with an MSP, in a different part of town, maybe, or different, outside the region, that they could, when they have a resource need outside of their home market. Then again, there's this world of looking for the SecOps. So, there's a lot of MSPs that have, want to add the second S, right? Want to add that security play within their managed services. And to do it justice, they can't, that's the big challenge, right? It's how do I scale to become and say that I'm MSSP? And that's where I think the service like AgileBlue is really, really a huge value, right? They don't have to hire, but they can, whether it's white labeled or it's, calling out the specific tools they're using, doesn't matter. Right now they can say, hey, I am doing this range of services for you. They don't have to know, whether it's your own W-2 staff or whether it's somebody else's
Right.
resource that you're pulling in. You're providing the service for them that they need. And
Sure.
you're able to do that without, again, hiring up or, getting, one thing is hiring, but just having the expertise to roll it out and manage it is a big step up.
Yep,
If they can
absolutely.
avoid it, this is a great tool, great solution.
Yeah, and the way we look at it too, that white label allows an MSP turning into an MSSP to build their brand, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Continue to evolve into that trusted advisor to their customers. And we think it's a win-win for everyone. It doesn't have to be that way. We have many that don't white label, but many that do. And the ones that do are very focused on how they're building not just their brand, but literally their business and how it's going to scale and evolve and survive, hopefully for the next 3, 5, whatever years, right? So that white label does provide that bit of scalability that we see our partners needing for sure.
yeah, no, absolutely.
So let's talk about a case study.
Yeah.
Robert, are you on the line?
Yes, sir.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing fantastic. Robert, do you want to take 2 seconds, introduce yourself in computer ties, and we can kind of dive into a little bit of a case study?
Yeah, sure. So I'm Robert Jones. I'm the operations manager here at Computer Ties. We're based in Jackson, Michigan. We service over, I think we're over 400 different businesses right now, and mainly we offer IT support. We're trying to get into the security side with the partnership with AgileBlue Nodeware. And we have other offerings in our plaza, quote unquote. We have an electrical division. It's pretty much everything technology under one roof is our goal. So that's kind of our business model, is that we're a one-stop shop. You need electrical, come here. You need computers, come here. Printers, we got it all.
Nice. You don't need to go to Best Buy anymore. You guys got it taken care
Nope,
of. I like it.
nope, we got it covered,
Nice. Nice.
and it'll be higher quality.
That is a given. There's no doubt about
Yeah,
that. I
yeah.
appreciate that. So maybe you could talk. So since you guys do a bunch of things, right, within tech, like you mentioned, maybe you can focus a little bit and talk to the folks online about specifically what you guys do from a cyber perspective.
So we've been using AgileBlue and Nodeware for I want to say about a year and a half now, somewhere around there. It's been a great product. It's caught several issues. One at one of our customers that got compromised, that isolated the device, prevented them from causing any real damage. Another one more recently, someone's Microsoft 365 account got compromised, and they were a global admin, and AgileBlue was able to isolate that account before they caused any real damage. So just speaking on AgileBlue specifically, before AgileBlue, all we did really was antivirus. Now we're trying to move with the direction that the actual industry is heading, which is obviously cybersecurity. The hackers and the bad actors are becoming more and more prevalent every day. So in order to kind of offset that, you almost have to put some type of software or system in place to kind of offset that balance.
Shockingly, I agree with you, Robert. Absolutely. Let me ask this question for you, Robert. So, okay, I assume you guys started whenever you guys started, way back when,
Yeah, about 30 years ago.
Exactly, long time ago, long probably before cyber was, really the focus of the way it is now. So as you guys have evolved from, like you said, computer and electrical and anything dealing with IT into cyber, was one of the challenges you guys faced talent, resources? Obviously, you're a super smart guy. I don't know what end of the spectrum you're on, if you're cyber or more of an IT guy where you started, but can you talk a little bit about the challenges Computer Ties faces around, experts and people?
So as far as staffing, we honestly haven't had too many issues. We rely heavily on AgileBlue support staff for any cases that come up. Not too heavily to where we're not learning something at the same time. But we obviously use the assets that are there for us. If we didn't, that would just not be a good idea. So we typically hire directly out of college, and you interview 30 people and you find out who's the best fit, and then you kind of go from there. And we've gotten really lucky, and we've been blessed in that way that we've gotten some solid employees.
Just because I love to know these things, are these young folks coming out of a cyber program or more of a computer science background?
I have 2 employees on staff right now that both got cybersecurity associate's degrees.
Starting to see more and more of it for sure. There's no doubt about it.
It's definitely the leading degree platform that I see coming in as far as on applications. A lot less network engineers and a lot more cybersecurity professionals.
Yep. No, that makes a ton of sense. As you guys continue, Robert, to grow your business outside of some of the things that you're doing with AgileBlue and Nodeware, what else is Computer Ties bringing to your customers?
As far as just our services in general?
Services in general, but also cyber as well.
So one thing we really preach on is our cloud-based backup system. Encryption on your data storage, things like that. Just basic cybersecurity principles, really. AgileBlue pretty much does everything else for us.
Robert, when you think it's basic, though, believe it or not, a lot of folks I know it's crazy and going into 2025 here in about 6 weeks. It's still basic, still is where some folks need to get to,
Oh yeah. And I still go to some of my customers and I kind of, not too harshly, obviously, but I kind of scold them when I find that sticky note with their password under their keyboard or just stuck right to their monitor.
Wait, so don't do that, you're telling me? Don't do that?
No, do not do that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, it's as much as a cyber security or computer problem as it is a people problem.
Yep.
Even if it's more so a people problem, because phishing is the number one way that people get in nowadays. It's not
Still works.
because it's someone clicked something. That's almost always what it is.
Yep. Yeah, no doubt about it. Robert, before I let you go, and thank you so much for joining us today. For the folks that are listening that might not be as advanced as Computer Ties getting into cyber, what's a gotcha that they might need to think about?
Well, could you clarify that?
Well,
I
like,
just want to
if
make
they're
sure.
going to get more into cyber, everybody's like, we got to
Mhm.
get into cyber, got to get into cyber. And they think about all the wonderful revenue that's going to come from it.
Yeah.
Is there anything that they're going to like,
Oh,
man, we really need to
the
watch this stuff?
downside of it.
Yeah.
So I mean, you got to make sure to stay on top of it. Is the one thing. Just getting the product. I mean, don't get me wrong. That's the first step, but there's several steps after that. You have to maintain it. You have to, make sure you're responding to your cases. Make sure you're looking at your Nodeware alerts, looking at your CVEs that are out, so you fix these vulnerabilities before they become an issue. That's all this is preventative maintenance essentially. So I mean, go ahead.
I was just to say, Robert, I think, the point you're saying we were talking about before is that proactive nature, right? You got to have the
Yeah,
tool in that enables you to do that, but then you got to keep up on it, right? It's not a once a year assessment, right? It's a daily
yeah,
activity that you have to look for things that new critical vulnerabilities that came up, or new devices that were added to the employee, your customer's network that, oh, I haven't seen that before. Let's make sure that that one is safe and not providing, not opening up a can of worms.
oh yeah, yeah, definitely. And there's some things that Nodeware specifically that it flags, and it's like I didn't even know that program was on here, and it's a
Exactly.
vulnerability right there.
Yep.
So a lot of people look at it as this is going to be more work for me. Well, I mean, this is all work we should have been doing from the beginning.
Totally.
But the issue is you can't fix what you don't know. So you have to look at it as just a tool that prevents you from, if you want to do things the right way, hiring staff to look up CVEs and see when this does it all for you. If you try to do this as a human being, you'd need 3-4 staff members constantly looking these things up and fixing them, where you can get one product and maybe one staff member for part of a day to look at some of these things and fix them. It simplifies things drastically.
Absolutely.
But expands your services
Oh
to
yeah,
where they need to be easily.
definitely.
Awesome. Robert, thank you so much for that. Very
Yeah.
interesting. Really appreciate the partnership. And really, thanks for just talking about Computer Ties. You guys are an awesome company. So it's great to learn more about you guys. Of
No, I appreciate you guys having me on.
course.
Thank you,
Absolutely.
Robert.
All right.
All right. So, as we talk a little bit about what Robert actually just talked about, and we think about, we talked about AgileBlue. AgileBlue, when we created Cerillion, which is the name of our AI security operations platform, created all of our technology except two components. We've been talking about our expansive partnership with Nodeware as our vulnerability scanning and continuous scanning partner. And then we actually brought into our platform the Elastic SIM. So when clients are working with us, they don't have to bring their own SIM to the table. They don't need to sign another contract with somebody. They're getting everything. When you work with someone like AgileBlue, you're getting the entire suite. The AI, the SIM, the vulnerability scanning, these things all work together holistically. It's not like 3 or 4 products all put together and then hopefully they're going to work and hopefully the APIs aren't broken and all these things that you tend to see with integrated applications. Ours are holistically built together so they just work together, sharing data, being able to investigate that data, one screen for everything. That's a big deal for our customers. But these relationships we built with people like Nodeware, why would we want to create vulnerability scanning when they're absolutely excellent at it? Let's work with the people who are pros that know that space so well. That's why a relationship between AgileBlue and Nodeware just works so well. So when you think about, as we get towards the end here, we'll answer some questions. When you think about some of these benefits, Frank and I have been talking a lot about enhancing offerings adding new offerings without building out your team, without increasing your costs too much. And that's a big deal, because as MSPs need to grow, gross margins mean something. And the only thing that takes away gross margins from MSPs is adding more people to the cost of goods. We're trying to help that way. If we could bring that single integrated platform, you have to work with one vendor in AgileBlue. You know, we're going to be that one back to tap. I'm not going to talk about the choking of the throat, the one back to tap, right? We're here to make things great with you. You don't have to talk to 3 or 4 or 7 providers, right? It's all contained. And let us worry about investing in AI. Let us spend the money with AWS to pay for the compute of AI. And you guys can utilize that as we democratize it out to our entire partnership and customer base. Frank, when you think about what Nodeware brings benefits to partners, what else would you ask? Because you guys know this space so well.
Yeah, you know, I think the biggest piece, and particularly when it's tied into AgileBlue, but just even on its own piece, you know, we talked about the proactive identification of devices, you know, monitoring them for known and being currently exploited vulnerabilities, providing that the ability to act quickly, right? I mean, there's nothing nothing worse than, oh, I saw something and I didn't do anything about it. Well, you know, that's just danger all around. So you know, I think the continuous, right, looking at all devices, you know, because, you know, again, people don't think about them too much, but the IoT devices that, you know, could be in a home, an Xbox, you know, just, you know, to that level. But, you know, when you're truly identifying every device, every asset within an enterprise, whether it's on-prem, whether it's remote worker that never comes into the office, or whether it's, you know, some external IP addresses that you want to identify and keep an eye on those as well. When you have every device in the enterprise under view, right, and under scanning and under you know, bringing data forward, then, you know, there's not much more you can do than that, right? You see them and you act on them. You're doing the best for your clients that you possibly could.
Absolutely. Well said. There's nothing more I would add to that. All right, Q&A. What questions can we answer? There's a bunch of people on this webinar. What questions can we answer? Sam, are you able to put any of these questions in the chat?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think I see one that just came in here, and I'm going to send over to you guys.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay, so the question is, what support does AgileBlue and Nodeware offer MSPs post-implementation to ensure success? Well, I'll answer from our perspective. We are 24/7 here to support our MSP partners. So when a client's implemented, the only way to ensure long-term success is to make sure the technology is always working peak performance 24/7. Make sure our teams are available 24/7 to do those investigations and responses where the manual intervention does need to take place. Being able to answer a question from a customer. It could be 2 a.m. and a customer can say, hey, my DNS server looks odd to me. Can you take a look at it? Obviously, the whole point is we would have brought that to you if there's a cyber attack, but customers have questions all the time about things, and that's what we're here to do. So how do we ensure that long-term success is always being available? Whether that's online, whether that's via live chat, whether that's via a phone call or email, just always being available for our customers. That ensures long-term success. Also know you're working with a platform that is the most up-to-date when it comes to threat intelligence, threat exposure, threat hunting, constantly making sure whatever might be facing you or your customers is able to be detected. Frank, I don't know if there's anything you would add to how you guys keep Nodeware, you know, constantly improved for that long-term success.
Yeah, no, I think you know, we actually listen to a lot of MSPs and what they're asking for, and, you know, things, you know, AgileBlue's asked for in terms of Red Hat, you know, different agents, different sensors that are able to monitor, you know, again, you know, broadly everything on the network. So we're, continuously improving. We've got a pretty significant roadmap over the next 6 to 9 months of bringing your requested features as well as features that we've identified to make the product easier to use and provide more value. So we as being a very focused tool with what we do, we're not trying to add on bells and whistles that don't add value, right? We're very focused on continuous improvement within our world, and then working with companies like AgileBlue that can take the data, utilize it within the broader spectrum, and deliver that next level of service. So, I think this combination is a wonderful add for MSPs to go and add to their portfolio without a lot of effort.
Absolutely. Next question, can we speak to how the unified platform integrates seamlessly with existing client cyber tools? Absolutely. So we're not naive to not know that MSPs could be working with other providers. You heard Robert at Computer Ties talk about antivirus, potentially other EDRs, other applications they might be using. The answer is we have built integrations generally via APIs with just about anybody, firewall providers, endpoint detection providers, applications like Salesforce or Workday or Jira, whatever somebody might be using. You name the modern application, right? And I'm probably pretty sure we've already created integrations with it. And the point of those integrations is to take the data in those platforms, whether you're using 1, 2, or 10 of them, extract that data, bring it all into AgileBlue. So think about this. Now as an MSP, all that data is in one database, right? One SIM. It's got one dashboard that's extrapolating that data and looking at all that data, correlating all that data together to understand where there could be a potential compromise. And then there's one team that's there to monitor and respond. So we've taken that siloed data from other applications and tools that you might love and want to keep, absolutely, brought it all into one and made it so much more effective and efficient in the cyber process. Integrations is the key to a good platform, is the key to a good partnership. So we encourage our customers, our partners, whatever other applications they might be using, from ticketing systems to their RMM tools, to other EDRs or antivirus, whatever it is, they should be integrated, because if all that data is together, it makes data extrapolation and that correlation so much easier, so much more effective to us to be a great cyber partner. So we encourage those integrations. If we don't have them built, which I'm sure 9.5 times out of 10 they're already built, we will build them for you.
Yeah, Tony, one thing I'll just add in terms
Please.
of the improvement process again is we have because we're capturing all kinds of the vulnerability databases and we're seeing the remediation suggestions, we're able to sort of continuously refine the thing and the data and sort of the correlations, and that comes into the remediation recipes or the scoring and or the other elements that we provide. So just those tools, and I think both of us sort of play well with the compliance and the GRC tools that are out there that are requiring different sets of data. So we've done a number of really specific integrations with those tools to make it easier for again, compliance reporting, whatever it might be, or FTC safeguards, or cyber insurance. We haven't even talked about the need and what this whole package and platform enables from a cyber insurance requirement standpoint, right? I mean, this is again, that could probably be its own other broadcast, other webinar, but for today, I think really what this combination of AgileBlue and Nodeware provides is the platform that enables that you can show and prove to a carrier, to your customers' insurance needs, that you are doing the things that they really care about, right? And from an insurance standpoint, and how you either get better premiums or at least get renewed to start with, but to get a potentially lower premium.
Absolutely. One more question did come in. It's if there's any industries that we specialize in. Look, at the end of the day, our technology is built to detect, investigate, and autonomously respond to cyber attacks. Whether you're in government, healthcare, financial services, technology, manufacturing, whatever, Our technologies are built for all of it. There's probably 4 or 5 industries. We just have a big concentration of customers, including government. But sometimes those things just work themselves out based on how you're approaching the market. But no matter what your MSP focuses on, whether it's generalized industries or maybe you're very focused on the type of sectors you go after, AgileBlue and Nodeware together are great applications, because not only do we have an application that's going to determine if there's a potential cyber attack, we also do threat hunting as well, based on industries, based on just generalized threat hunts that are going to also determine where there could be potential vulnerabilities. Frank, anything you'd say to specific sectors for Nodeware, or not so much?
No, not really. No, I think you kind of said it. We fit wherever somebody wants to know and be safe, right? Which should be every single business out there.
Exactly.
I think the only, as I was saying before, the only vertical, if you want, I don't really call it a vertical, but you know, where customers have specific compliance requirements, right? We match up into all of the NIST and CIS and HIPAA and everything else. So we map to those and provide the data that they're asking for. So that's the only specific play that I would say. Otherwise, no, there's no business that shouldn't be having this in their mix.
Exactly. Perfect. Well, I think that's it question-wise. Everybody's going to get back a little bit of time today, which you're welcome. We all could use more time in our day. If anybody has any questions, you know how to get a hold of us. Frank, what's your website real quick, in case anybody wants to check you out?
Pretty simple. Just nodeware.com for all that information. We do have another part of our company that does do some other services, some penetration tests and some other outside services that people are interested, they can send me a note there. But nodeware.com is a great place to start, understand, see how it works, and get in contact with us.
Sounds great. Frank, thanks so much for your time. You can find us out at agileblue.com. And everybody have a great day. And I look forward to talking with anybody if you have any further questions. Take care.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Frank.